credit card loans. Once upon a time, it was a very famous mode for obtaining loans by individuals. Majority of the credit card loans are for the personal purpose of borrowers. The banks or finance institutions will grant the limit of you to be available to the borrower as credit card limit so that the borrower can borrow the fund and to meet his expenditure, to meet his commitments, and to have financial resources available at any time. During the last period, the loan limits, the loans against loans with credit cards has seen a sharpest increase in categories of retail loans, subprime segment, unsecured personal loans in the past. Now, the Reserve Bank of India has imposed a higher risk weight on the unsecured loans lent by banks in November 23. Credit card loans outstanding is fastest growing by 34% last year compared to the present year. The outstanding dues on credit cards was approximately 2.4 lakh crores, which is 5% of total loans. The majority of the credit card loans were available to the low middle class and lower middle class people, and credit cards majority of the credit card loans are for subprime sector where the risk is very less. Means the people can repay, the borrowers can repay the credit card loans without much issues. The Reserve Bank is also encouraging the issue of credit cards, usage of technology, and strong underwriting models to reduce the risk. Also, the regulator, the Reserve Bank of India, is trying to reduce the risk of delay or default by credit card holders. This is the credit card lending depends upon debt to income limits. That is, debt to limits along with restrictions and loan to value ratios are found to be effective macroprudential tools. As such tools are helping to identify the probable defaulter of credit card borrower. Retail loans are playing an important role for the growth of Indian banking sector in the past 2 decades. Then the corporate loans. These small loans, majority of the credit card loans and personal loans are small loans where the risk is very less compared to large loans given to corporate sector of India. Now, the Reserve Bank is assuming there may be some risk in issuing more credit cards based upon the loan should be based on the repaying capacity, earning capacity of the borrowers, that is credit card holders. Until now, the credit cards were given indiscriminately depending upon the age and nature of source of income of the borrower. But repaying capacity was not considered while issuing the credit cards to the borrowers. Out of the total credit cards issued during last 5 years, 60% of additional credit cards were issued by 5 banks of India. The majority of the risk assigned to the credit card loans are small loans, but the risk is very high when compared to the earning capacity and repayment capacity of the borrowers. Of course, the banking system is very active in assessing the repaying capacity and recovery of the loans against credit cards. And the system is very strong and management is also very strong. But when the borrower is unable to repay because of lack of sources of income or lack of sources of funds, insufficient funds, that the borrower may become default or delay the repayment, which may result into the less receipts of less recovery by the banks and financial institutions. Now the banks are applying the stringent recovery proceedings against credit card borrowers. And the banks are showing more concentration, more cautious while issuing credit card to the new customers. In fact, there needs to lot to be done to regulate the loans against credit cards. The credit card borrowers, there is no limit on the usage of credit card, usage of fund, usage of loan amount by the credit card holder, that is the borrower. The borrower can use the borrowed money for any purpose, which may be lavish spending, careless spending, luxury spending, and irresponsible spending, and even sometimes maybe illegal activities like betting and many other unlawful activities. There is no control on the amounts lent as personal loans to the borrowers as under credit cards. There is a need of regulatory framework to monitor the usage of funds by the credit card holder, the borrower, and the purpose for which the loan was granted and the purpose for which the funds were used. And another thing, important thing required to be concerned is the repaying capacity of the credit card holders. Many of the credit card holders, they will repay only margin amount, not full amount, and that loan amount will continue for a longer period. Of course, that loan repayment will generate income to the banks, to the lenders, but there is a possibility that the borrower may not be able to repay even margin money also after some time because of disturbance in source of income, non-availability of funds. In this regard, what needs to be done is to ensure that the credit card limit should not be more than 5 times of monthly income of the borrower, and the credit card loans against credit card should not be used for lavish, careless, luxury spending, and that should be used only for earning income, maybe for agriculture purpose, education, and for future benefit of investments. And that should not be used for any amount for unlawful activities, careless spending, lavish luxury spending. And that should be the control, that control needs to be implemented by the regulators while issuing banks, financial institutions, while issuing the credit cards to the borrowers. At present, many credit card holders, borrowers' loan limits are more than 5 times of their annual income, or at least 1 time to 2 times of the annual income of the borrower. It means the borrower is using the loan amount for the future 2 years of income. Means the borrower has to repay the total earnings, has to use his total earnings to repay the loans without spending anything for his purpose, at least for 2 years. This is a very great situation, and that should be restricted. And even with regarding corporate credit cards also, there should be a regulation on usage of the funds granted as loans to the corporates through credit cards. The credit cards loan amount may be misused by the user of corporates, and that may result into social as well as social uncertainty and social disturbance as well as economical inability. Also, the borrower should not come under debt trap. That means the borrower should not be forced to borrow to repay the loan or to repay the installments or to repay the margin money, whatever the thing required. So the borrower should be forced to earn and repay. That should be the limit of credit card for every credit card issued by the banks and financial institutions. That's the most important thing. And after some time, the credit card limit should be reduced and the personal loans and credit cards should be discouraged to the borrower and to avoid the delay and default by the overburdened credit card holder, that is borrower.